Everybody, let's talk about the Houston Rockets. As much of us know, if you're an NBA fan, you probably know the Houston Rockets and know that they're down 3-1 to the LA Lakers. And that's kind of tragic. I never thought this was going to happen. And you know what's more tragic? The Houston Rockets haven't made it to the finals in a long time since Hakeem Olajuwon, who gave them 2 championships. They had such a good roster, like Chris Paul and James Harden. That's one of their co-stars. Then they have Russell Westbrook and James Harden, 2 MVPs. You would think this roster would be super good. You would think they would make it to the finals. 2 MVPs on one team would probably make it to the finals, right? Well, no. What is the problem with the Houston Rockets? Let's talk about that. And by the way, if you've been wondering why my camera's kind of blurry, I kind of like it like that, so I made it like this. Anyways, tell me in the comment section below if you like the blurry camera. But let's get into the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets went down 3-1 against the LA Lakers, and they were losing by a lot. They weren't playing good transition defense, and at one point of time, PJ Tucker let Rajon Rondo have an open layup. Everything was looking really bad for the Houston Rockets this game, and if they lose this series, which they will probably will, what do the Rockets do? And what the hell is the problem? Is it Russell Westbrook? He's been having a lot of terrible playoff performance. Probably not though, because Russell Westbrook has started to play a little better. So I don't think that should be the problem. And James Harden was on the Houston Rockets for many years. Maybe he's the problem to their non-success in the NBA playoffs. Maybe James Harden is the problem. He was not that good in the NBA playoffs, especially Game 7s. He has not been good in the NBA playoffs for a really long time. In the regular season, he would average 30 points per game, and many people believe that he gets worse in the playoffs because of the pressure. Well, let me tell you the real problem. Neither Russell Westbrook or James Harden have been the problem. The real problem for the Houston Rockets, the biggest problem, is Mike D'Antoni. Yes, I will admit, James Harden was a big problem. Every player on the Rockets team obviously had a fault for losing in second round or the conference finals. Every player. Also, Mike D'Antoni. But Mike D'Antoni has the biggest problem out of all of these players. All of the players are James Harden. And I don't think most of people know him because, yes, Mike D'Antoni is a great coach, but he's not a coach that you will win a championship with. And I don't want to be harsh to Mike D'Antoni because he changed the history of basketball. He had a new concept when he was with the Phoenix Suns. His style of play or concept on the Phoenix Suns were different than any other team. Now, many other teams use a concept like him. But the problem is that his concept has a big flaw. You might be thinking, am I stupid? Every NBA team has a flaw, man. Am I stupid? How can his system be so flawed? How can he have a really big flaw? Let me show you. Think of his system. What is his system? Shooting 3-pointers. Yes, 3-pointers are better than 2-pointers. Definitely. I'll give you that. That's great. They're very spaced out. So what is the problem? if they have really good spacing and 3-pointers are better than 2-pointers and also have really good 3-point shooters, what will be the problem? Shouldn't that be a championship team? Nope. Problem is that for Mike D'Antoni's system, their players shooting 40 to 50 threes a game. That's how much threes that Mike D'Antoni's players are shooting. And one game you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna be cold from 3. And that's just facts. There is a really good chance that will happen if you chuck up 40, 50 threes every single game. That is a big flaw in his system. If every single game you're chucking 40, 50 threes, you're obviously gonna have a bad night from 3, especially when the most pressure is put in Game 7s, such as some performances from James Harden are obviously bad, but at least he's decent in the playoffs. He's not like a role player in the playoffs. He's at least an all-star. And he actually played better defensively in the playoffs. And that's a better side of the ball, and that's a more important side of the ball in the NBA. And he's not even that bad offensively. Look at his stats against the LA Lakers. 32 points per game. Amazing. 7.4 assists. Amazing. 53% from the field goal. Amazing. 48% from 3. Amazing. These are all great numbers. It's not bad numbers. Yes, they are losing, but and he's off the court. The team is drastically worse. The team is not as good. Mike D'Antoni makes every single player shoot threes, and James Harden takes the most threes. Any superstar has a bad night. And if James Harden keeps on chucking up threes, he's going to have a bad night, especially in the playoffs. So part of the James Harden's failure in the playoffs is also Mike D'Antoni. Another part of the Rockets' failures in the playoffs is Mike D'Antoni, mostly. The system is based on these players. All of these players could shoot the 3-ball. But one night you will miss all of these 3-pointers. And it's such a predictable play style. Look at the second best team in the league and the second best defensive team in the league. This is so easy to stop. They just have to prevent the Rockets from shooting threes. They have to run the shot clock. They have to make them play very slow, make them take a bad 3-point shot, or prevent them from shooting threes. Yes, then Mike D'Antoni will be frustrated, and he does not adjust. He thinks this system is perfect. He thinks this system could be a championship system. But the truth is, this system is not a championship system. This will never be a championship system. Maybe even if they're a really good team, they might not even win a championship with Mike D'Antoni. That is just the truth out there. The Lakers were preventing the Rockets from shooting threes. And what did they do? They did it. Their play style is super predictable because of Mike D'Antoni's system. And if you think Harden is a system player, he also had Kevin McHale as a coach. He is not a system player. I don't want anyone to actually say that he's a system player, because in my opinion, that is totally not true. Another thing I really want to talk about is that his rotations are like 8-man rotations. He hasn't played Luka Mbamute, who's a pretty good 3-point shooter and also is a really good defender. He doesn't play Luka Mbamute, who could be a really good piece to the small ball lineup off the bench. And I think people forget about this, but the Lakers outscored the Rockets from bench 41 points to 16. Luka Bamute could have been a spark off the bench. You could even give Chris Clemens 5 minutes. If you probably don't know Chris Clemens, maybe not even Rockets fans, but he is a guy who could just score the ball, shoot three-pointers really well. Just play these guys off the bench. Even DeMari Carroll, he could shoot the three ball. Play him a little bit of minutes. And I feel like Mike D'Antoni's system is not right. He's a great coach, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's a championship coach like other coaches. Many years, coaches like Steve Kerr or Greg Popovich have outsmarted the system, and Mike D'Antoni never changes the system or adjusts. And overall, the Rockets do not have a good playoff success. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. And like this video if you liked the video. Don't forget to comment your thoughts on Mike D'Antoni. Who do you think will win the series, Rockets or Lakers? I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.